Hi, welcome to TV Toastmasters. I'm your host today, Cathey Armillas, and I am here with my friend Phil Mandel, whom I'm excited to interview. Phil is a co-author of 3 books. He's a master NLP practitioner, which we're going to ask him about, longtime Toastmaster, and a recovering engineer.
Oh my gosh.
Phil, please tell us about that. That's always intriguing to me to hear.
Yes, well, I mean no disrespect to my fellow nerds. Here we are in Silicon Forest, and half the audience, as far as we know, may be engineers. I love engineering. It's like giving birth every day to something new and making something technical do something it's never done before. I love it. What I don't love is, back in the day, I used to talk like the proverbial engineer, let's say, where if I made eye contact, it was about that much. And most of the time I'd be, really just, looking at the floor or looking somewhere else. And
just so you wouldn't run into the other person, right?
Yeah, right. And it took me a long time to realize that people are fun. You know, I can make things do things, and they don't get emotional about it. They don't react. They either do what I want, and they don't do what I want, and I just make them do what I want. People aren't like that.
People are not like that.
They're not quite as cooperative. So it was a long learning process, thanks to NLP and Toastmasters.
Now, Toastmaster.
I can sit here and have like a real adult-to-adult conversation with you.
Look me in the eye. I love that.
That's
I'm getting great eye contact here.
See?
It's getting great eye contact. So Toastmasters, you said you've been a Toastmaster about 15 years.
15 years.
I want to hear how you first came to Toastmasters.
Oh gosh, when I first came to Toastmasters was well before that, probably in the 90s, maybe even 80s. Heard about this thing called Toastmasters, and like everyone else out there, I didn't know what it was. So I go check it out, and I go to the meeting place. I walk inside, and there were people.
Darn it, there were people.
Imagine that.
I can't even.
It's not what I do. I turned around, walked right back out.
You just left.
I just left.
Oh my gosh.
I was so shy and so afraid of people and so afraid of eye contact, and
Whoever invited you probably thought, well, all right, you took the first step. Next time, stay for 5 minutes.
That's right. And I think it took me about 10 years to come back.
Gotcha. So you just.
And by then I was just readier, more ready, and it's like I'm going to do what you said. I'm just going to sit there and find out what this is like, and I survived.
Yeah, you did.
And I went to another meeting and I survived.
You actually more than survived.
Yeah.
I would say to me, Phil, for as long as I've known you, you're an advanced Toastmaster.
You're
very articulate. So anybody in the audience, if you're watching this and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I definitely don't want to speak and this is terrifying for me, Phil would be a great example because I can't even picture you that way. And I didn't know you back then, so I can't even picture.
Yeah.
And you're just very cool.
I fool a lot of people because
you sure do. You fooled me.
All right,
so
good.
It's really good. Well, I want to hear a little bit more about the NLP. So a lot of people don't even know what NLP stands for. So why don't you tell us that and then tell us what it's all about.
You bet. So NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. Oh my God, that's so many syllables.
Such a mouthful.
It is. And the easiest way to explain it is a couple of examples. First of all, I think of it as like chiropractic for the mind. It's like a mental adjustment so that things become clearer or easier, or blocks move out of the way, or motivation allows you to move forward instead of something holding you back. It's like hypnotherapy, very closely related to hypnotherapy, or I might say self-hypnosis, because some people are uncomfortable with the thought of being hypnotized by someone else. If you think of it as self-hypnosis, you're just doing things with your own mind to help remove blocks or get over traumas and things like that. So a little bit hard to explain.
Is that what it's used for a lot?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of mental health issues. Sometimes we use it for physical health. We can actually help people resolve allergies. It sounds unbelievable, but I've had my own allergy to not sagebrush. Oh my gosh, it's a very pungent shrub around here. Right now I can't think of the name. That's how far gone the allergy is.
I don't even remember what it was.
I don't remember what it was. But anyway, whenever I encountered it, when the allergy was active, my eyes would just go like this, and my nose, and oh my gosh. And I let it ride for a while because I wanted to know what allergies feel like. I had never been allergic to anything. And I'm like, this is what these people go through. This is terrible.
Yeah.
I let it ride for about a month, and then I used the NLP process to fix it, and I'm absolutely fine ever since.
Wow. Well, that's great. NLP, do you use it in any other fashion? Because I know that speakers use it a lot.
Correct.
And there's various forms. So do you use it in your speaking?
Yes, and in the real estate work that I do, I'm a real estate agent, and with people, with speaking, with music, when I play piano.
That's right, you're this amazing pianist.
Well, thank you. Well, you've never heard me play, so you don't really know.
No, I did hear you play somewhere. It wasn't that time that we were at the Toastmasters, but I heard you play somewhere else. It was at a party or something.
Was I any good?
Yeah, you were good. You were excellent.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you were excellent. It must be that NLP work that you do.
Well, yes, so the NLP work and Toastmasters gave me the confidence to be able to play for people.
Oh.
So going way back in time when I used to talk to the floor and couldn't make eye contact,
right.
If I was playing piano, I would make everybody turn around and look the other way.
Oh, wow.
Like, don't watch me.
So you didn't mind that they heard, you just didn't want them to see.
Right.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right, and so nowadays I play concerts at the old church in Southwest Portland to packed houses, and I play weddings, and I can't wait to get on stage. It's like so much fun to play for people.
See, like you're a miracle in more than one way. It's like, okay, allergies gone, but speaking, like that's amazing. So the first time you gave a Toastmaster speech, did you make everybody turn around? I'm going to do this, but I need everybody to turn around.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's great. I wish I would have.
Well, so in your book, in the book Nuts and Bolts, this looks like an amazing book. You did a chapter in here about rapport.
I did.
And that is a huge piece of NLP.
Correct.
So tell me a little bit about rapport. Like, how is rapport used?
Yeah, very good question. Most people, one rarely thinks about it, right? We meet people, we have interactions, and things either go well or they don't.
Right.
And we don't always know why they don't go well. We don't know how to get it back. We just sort of do what we do, and things happen the way they happen. Rapport can be learned. And this is one of the things that got my eyes off the floor looking at people, because one of the things we have to do is notice when we're communicating, how is the other person responding? You can only find out that by looking and listening and observing the other person and seeing if is this going the way I want it to. So the first few days of NLP training focus on rapport. And the reason is that NLP is mostly geared towards change work, helping people become practitioners, or coaches to help others make the changes we talked about earlier, get over anxiety and phobias and things like that. Right. You can't help anyone make a deep personal change if you don't have rapport with them.
That's true.
Because that's where the trust comes from.
Right.
Oh my gosh, so just in the example of you and me talking, we happen to talk at the same tempo.
Yeah.
You're one of the easiest people to talk to, and we make about the same amount of eye contact with each other. We just sort of on the same communication
level. We have good rapport, so
exactly.
It would be good rapport.
Right. Other people talk much more slow.
Or super, super fast.
Or super, super fast. And so part of establishing and maintaining rapport is I take the responsibility myself to make the adjustments. So if you happen to be a slower speaker, I would slow down my speech in order to match your voice tempo.
Yeah.
Not to mimic you, not to make fun of you. It's a sign of respect.
Right.
This is how fast so let's say it's not you. Let's say it's this person over here. This is how fast this person processes, speaks.
They're a really fast talker, and you want to kind of keep up with them.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I get that. That makes sense.
Yeah, so a lot of it is voice tempo. A lot of it is, in some cultures, eye contact is real fleeting. Typically Japanese, their eyes are fleeting a lot, and they barely make eye contact.
Right, right.
And we Americans are taught to eye contact, and that's what we do.
Right.
And that oftentimes makes them feel threatened. Because that's just not a
because you're staring somebody down.
It's not polite in that culture to make a lot of eye contact. So if I'm talking with someone who's like that, I'm not going to do the American stare. I'm going to match their amount of eye contact as a sign of respect in order to match and mirror them and help establish rapport.
It's funny because it's simple but yet deep. I mean, it is deep, and it's probably made you so much more aware of how people interact, and when you say something, how people respond, And as a speaker, that would be fantastic.
Exactly, and I know you do this because I've seen you in action on the stage speaking. You're a masterful speaker.
Thank you.
And so what you do, in case you didn't know,
tell me what I do, Phil.
yeah, is when you make a point and pause, you're watching to see how they receive what you just said. And you're going to pause long enough to know, okay, now it's time to continue because they've absorbed it, they've got the emotional hit, or they had the little chuckle.
Right.
And you're watching that unconsciously, because I think you do this much more naturally than I do. I had to learn that.
Right,
it's like I say something and now I got to stop. Okay, that's the reaction I wanted, now I can continue. This relates directly to music, because Beethoven wrote this, big opening to the Pathetique Sonata, let's say, the big C minor. I got to let that sink in, because it's a shock when it first starts, and then goes on a little sweetly.
That's why there's a pause.
You're right.
And then, let it sink for a second.
Yeah. So what's important, as you know, about speaking or any kind of performance, is being comfortable with the pause.
Right.
Right.
The silence, don't try to fill it. Don't try to
fly past the pause. Don't use ums and ahs. Just let the pause be the pause.
Yeah, I always call it like pedestaling something, especially if you want to say something really important. I say you pedestal it with a pause before and a pause after.
I like it.
Yeah, I love that. Good. Well, we sadly are out of time, but I'm really sad because I would love to have you back and would love to go a little bit deeper in all of these subjects. You have so much wisdom and so much inspiration for all the viewers. I just really appreciate your time, and I hope that if they see you, they'll be like, oh, we want to see Phil again, and that they tune in. That's my hope.
That's great.
So Phil, thank you so much for being on the show, and I look forward to seeing you next time.
I used to be afraid of attending networking meetings. I didn't know how to talk to people about my business. I was just afraid. I didn't know what to do. Then my husband came home one night and told me about Toastmasters, how his coworker was raving about the benefits of joining. Reluctantly, I joined a club near my home. It turned out to be a safe place where I could practice impromptu speaking. It was the best thing for me, because those networking meetings, you meet different people from different walks of life. Practicing impromptu speaking every week allowed me to develop confidence in myself. Also, the people are supportive, encouraging, and we do have fun. Thanks to Toastmaster, my business is now thriving. I'm not afraid to walk up to anyone and start a conversation.
My name is Bill Maher. I'm a member of New Horizons Toastmasters Club. And I really enjoy being with you here again and also being part of New Horizons. I've mentioned before in the past where one of the strengths to Toastmasters, and I believe our club in particular, is the diversity that we have among the members of our club. I have a very special guest with me this evening. She is a member who is part of our leadership team, has been part of the club for almost 2 years, and has agreed to come and speak with us a little bit about who she is and what she does, and a little bit about what her experience in Toastmasters has been these past couple of years. I would like to welcome Camilli Talley. Camilli, welcome. I'm glad that you could join us this evening.
Thank you, Bill.
Yes. Tell us a little bit about what you do. You work for Nike. Tell us a little bit about the position that you have at Nike.
Sure. I help Nike HR launch solutions that have to do with data and analytics. So anything new that goes out to help them make decisions about their data or helps them to improve upon a process or as part of some workflow that they're doing, I help them with their solution, but from purely a data and reporting perspective.
So you're a numbers person more so?
I think that if I was doing more of the data analysis, then yes, but I'm doing more of the solution, so providing solution options and designing prototypes of how things could work. And then once they take a recommendation or it's approved, it gets passed off to the tech team who does build the actual thing and makes it come to life.
The actual thing. Now, I know that Nike's big thing is sneakers and shoe wear, athletic shoe wear. Are we talking shoe wear or are we talking something else?
We are not talking shoe wear with what I do.
Those who wear the shoes?
Nope, no, not even the consumers.
Okay.
For Nike HR, our consumers are the actual employees, our workforce.
Interesting. Which is a global company, so that's a lot of people.
It is a lot of people.
Wow.
A lot of people.
Tell us a little bit about how finding yourself at Nike and doing what you're doing, looking at personnel globally, looking back at the path that your life has brought you. What kinds of experiences, what kinds of education, what kinds of personal strengths and characteristics do you bring to that job on a regular basis?
That is a good question. If I had to look at anything that I thought I've brought to the job from my past work experiences, I would start with saying that when I worked for the state, I worked for the Oregon University system, which used to be a state system that was made up of the 7 public universities and the chancellor's office. So think Oregon State, Portland State, and so on. And my work involved also devising solutions and making sure that their data was consistent, and sometimes that involved traveling to those universities or building strategic relationships with people on each of those campuses in order to positively persuade them to go with a solution that benefited all and not just one. So I felt like I took that skill of being able to build relationships strategically and brought that into my job at Nike, and was able to use that in order to also positively persuade people towards certain solutions that benefit the whole and not just the one.
Fascinating. I love the term that you used, strategic relationships, and that it's such an important way to understand different people that we work with throughout our lives in different situations. You're a parent, you have children, you have a strategic relationship with your children, and it's interesting to view it in that way at some points. The other aspect of the story that you just told is that you worked for the university system, which is government, and now you work for a corporate institution. What would you say is 1 or 2 significant differences in characteristics of those 2 types of institutions?
Wow. There's so much I could say. But if I had to think about it, I would say that in the Oregon University system's not there anymore, but the schools still are together. I didn't find that it was that the employees or my colleagues were as energized to be at work and to for us, because things go so slow. They work so slowly in the state system, or more slowly than we'd like to. Whereas in a corporate setting, and Nike's the only corporate setting I've worked in, things can go pretty quickly depending on decisions and things. Sometimes things go slowly, but things can go quickly, and my colleagues are a lot more energized and ready to just jump in and do what they need to do.
And I believe also that your current colleagues have a lot more to be aware of and changes that could take place much more rapidly than in the university system.
I believe so, yes.
Yes. The other aspect of what you shared so far is the diverse population that you work with, and you do work globally, and there is a lot of diversity among the people whom you serve. We'll say serve, as opposed to being over top of. What kinds of uniqueness and strengths do you personally enjoy about working amongst such diverse people?
I would say that a real big positive thing that comes from that rich kind of diversity is, I think when you get different people, different types of people coming together, you get different types of ideas and you get more of them. And sometimes if you have like a group that's not so diverse or homogeneous, you get, you know, options, and they look separately, they look mutually exclusive. But when you get a diverse set of individuals together, sometimes they can think of combining that option with that option to make an even better option. So different kinds of people giving more and different types of ideas, and we can come up with more innovative solutions and ways to think about things.
I totally agree. A lot of people look at that as compromise, but I don't see it as compromise. I see it as coming together to find a different and better solution among all of the options that people brought to the table. And I love that. I love that you are able to live in that kind of environment. I'm going to bring it home a little bit more so with this next question, because we were both part of New Horizons Toastmasters group. Love the group, a very interesting group. One of the most interesting characteristics for a lot of people is that we meet at 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning, and we tell people that, and why? Why Saturday morning? Why 8 o'clock? That's like sleep time. So I'll ask you the question. You committed to the club, you're part of the leadership group. Why do you make that commitment to join us at 8 o'clock on Saturday mornings?
Well, I'll answer that if you can answer it as well.
Okay.
Okay. I find that I came to Toastmasters specifically to increase my self-confidence. But I found that when increasing my self-confidence, I might succumb to overconfidence. And that means that I could understand my abilities and then not do well. So I come because I feel that New Horizons Toastmasters has taught me self-compassion. And I think of self-compassion as the anti-enemy or the enemy of overconfidence. Because that self-compassion, New Horizons has allowed me to acknowledge my flaws or rooms for development, and to be able to seek out and to keep the connectedness to the group and wake up at 8 a.m. every morning so that I can look to role models such as yourself and James Wants and the Emily Taylors and the Phyllis Harmons and all the other ones, and be able to accept that I have flaws, but I can improve upon them, and look to others to gain that confidence and self-compassion about myself. So I'm aware of both my strengths and my rooms for improvement.
I would have to agree. I have been going to New Horizons for 5 or 6 years now, and the commitment initially was because I did want to improve my public speaking and feel more confident in that, but I also wanted to meet different people. At the time, I was in transition, is what I like to call it. I was unemployed. And as great as different job seekers groups were, I kept finding people who were also unemployed. And I thought, well, I need to stretch a little bit more. So I went to Toastmasters to find other people, a lot of whom were actually working, which was refreshing. But I keep coming back because that particular group is diverse. We have such a diversity of ages, of experiences in Toastmasters, of experiences in speaking, of different cultural backgrounds. And every week, even brand new people who are so nervous and so scared of doing their speeches share something that is so significant, even if it's just from themselves. It's just wonderful to see people grow in that way. And that's why I get up for 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning, every Saturday morning. Just one last question. You've mentioned a couple of benefits for Toastmasters for you. If there was somebody new who was coming and was thinking about becoming part of our club, what would be one thing that you would tell them to encourage them to make that decision?
I would probably use our club slogan, which is come for the fun and stay for the growth. Because even though you're waking up at 8 a.m. every morning, you can grab your coffee, you can have some fun, some laughs, and start your day off well. But if you continue to come, you will see that you can grow in your areas of speaking, listening, and developing your social capital, those relationships that we use to connect with other people.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for the answer, and thank you for joining me today. So glad that you were able to take some time and share about yourself and share about Toastmasters.
Thank you for inviting me.
Another wonderful time with a guest from Toastmasters. We hope that you enjoyed the time and enjoy and get to know both Camilli and myself a little bit more. And if you are thinking about joining Toastmasters, please do a web search, put in your zip code in toastmastersinternational.com. Find a club that is near you. Try a couple of clubs. If you're up on a Saturday morning in Tualatin, Oregon, please feel free to come by and visit New Horizons Toastmasters. Thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you again soon.
I joined Toastmasters to improve my speaking, listening, communication, and leadership skills.
Toastmasters gave me
Incredible confidence.
Confidence,
confidence,
Great listening skills.
poise,
Great leadership skills.
leadership skills,
the ability to speak in public,
strength,
A captive audience.
quality feedback from the more experienced Toastmasters.
Toastmasters really helped me improve my listening skills.
sales skills,
opportunities to go to different groups and widen my whole horizon.
Toastmasters has given me a more focused me, and I'm a much better listener. Toastmasters is fulfilling.
It's a great place to fail your way to success.
wonderful way to meet people,
Networking.
strength.
It's addictive.
It's a club of self-improvement.
It's an experience, it's a ride that you won't forget, and you'll enjoy it every step of the way.
Toastmasters helped me land a kick-butt job.
I sang at one of my table topic speeches, and people liked it and applauded.
My business is doing great, and I'm very, very grateful to Toastmasters.
It's been a great experience for me.
Thank you, Toastmasters.
Thank you, Toastmasters.
Thank you, Toastmasters, for giving me so much confidence.
Thank you, Toastmasters, for everything.